If you recognise any of them, do join in. You might not know this first one. All my life I wanted to be a barra boy. A barra boy I always wanted to be. I wheels me barra, I pushes it with pride. I'm a coster, from over the Lambeth side. I turns me back on all the old society. I'm going where the ripe bananas grow. I sells them a dozen a shilling, that's how I makes me living. I ought to have been a barra boy years ago. Up the apples and pears and across the Rorio Moor. Off to see me dear old trouble and strife. On the Cain and Abel you will always see a couple of Jack the Rippers and a pot of Rosie Lee. Oh, what could be better than this? A bit of a cuddle and kiss underneath the pale moonlight. And then some Tommy Tucker and off to Uncle Ned. Go up the Barry Randall, what a lovely night we've had. All me life I wanted to be a barra boy. A barra boy I always wanted to be. I wheels me barra, I pushes it with pride. I'm a coster, from over the Lambeth side. I turns me back on all the old society. I'm going where the ripe bananas grow. I sells them a dozen a shilling, that's how I makes me living. I ought to have been a barra boy years ago. Get off me barra, I ought to have been a barra boy years ago. Off. Thank you. Okay. You might not know this is a musical song, but it really is. I've forgotten how it starts. We'll do this one. I hates those blokes what talks about the things what they likes to drink, such as tea and coffee, cocoa and milk. Well, of such things I never think. Now I'm playing in me habits and I'm playing in me food, and what I says is this, that the man what drinks such rubbish with his meals, well, I always gives him a miss. Now for breakfast I never thinks of having tea. I likes me half a pint of ale. And for dinner I likes a little bit of meat and half a pint of ale. For tea I likes a little bit of fish and half a pint of ale. And for supper I likes a crust of bread and cheese and a pint and an half of ale. Now this is how I looks at it, and I think you'll agree with me. I've never seen a man get drunk in me life on cocoa, coffee or tea. Do you think I'd pay 1 and 8 a pound for tea? Well, the thought makes me feel queer when I think of what you get for another 2 and 6. Such a pretty little barrel of beer. Now for breakfast I never thinks of having tea. I likes me half a pint of ale. And for dinner I likes a little bit of meat and half a pint of ale. For tea I likes a little bit of fish and half a pint of ale. And for supper I likes a crust of bread and cheese and a gallon and a half of ale. Now folks which drink such stuff as that are always looking pale. They've pains in their tummies and they've pains in their backs, but I never gets a pain with ale. I always feels happy and I always feels right when I has a glass or two. So why should I drink coffee or tea when there's plenty of ale? Would you? No. Now for breakfast I never thinks of having tea. I likes me half a pint of ale. And for dinner I likes a little bit of meat and half a pint of ale. For tea I likes a little bit of fish and half a pint of ale. And for supper I likes a crust of bread and cheese and a barrel and a half of ale. Yeah, right. Everyone delights to spend their summer holiday down beside the side of the silvery sea. I'm no exception to the rule, except if I have me way, I'd reside by the side of the silvery sea. But if you're just a common or garden smith or Jones or Brown, a business in the town, you've got to settle down. You saves up all the money you can till summer comes around. Then away you go to a place you know where the cockle shells are found. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om-pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'd be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. William Sykes the burglar, he went out to work one night, filled his bag with jewels and cash and plate. Constable Brown was quite surprised when William hove in sight. Says he, yeah, you're keeping her far too late. So he grabbed him by the collar and lodged him safe and sound in jail. Next morning, looking pale, Bill told a tearful tale. The judge said, for a couple of months I'm sending you away. Well, said Bill, how kind. But if you don't mind where I spend me holiday, oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om-pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'd be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. Timothy went to Blackpool for the day last Easter tide to see what he could see beside the sea. As soon as he reached the station there, the first thing he espied was the wine lodge door stood open invitingly. To quench his thirst, he toddled inside and called out for a wine, which grew to 8 or 9, till his nose began to shine. Says he, what people see the sea, I really felt the sea. So he caught the train back home again, and to his wife said he, oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om-pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'd be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll upon the prom, where the brass bands play tiddly-om-pom-pom. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'd be beside myself with glee. And there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea. One of the really old ones. Actually, it's 110th birthday this year. Okay, moving on. We've got a lodger, he's a funny old dodger, he's gone music mad. Last week the nanny Gertie went and had a fit and I had the toothache bad. He starts to play at the break of day and also in the middle of the night. He plays so sweet that it tickles my feet and my old girl wants to fight. With a hey diddle diddle in the middle of his fiddle, he can fiddle diddle diddle all day. A root toot toot on his little bit of flute, he'll sit for hours and play. Home sweet home on a paper and a comb, his wife's gonna leave him all alone. For all night long he's singing her a song and winding up the gramophone. Oh, yes. Last Sunday night he had a birthday and a fight and around came all his crew. He played at ragtime, dinner time, tea time, supper time and bedtime too. He played so hard on his old bombard, the ceiling in the middle had a crack. On top of me and the wife in bed, they all came down with a whack-tiddy-whack, wing in the middle of the fiddle, fiddle diddle diddle all day. A root-toot-toot on his little bit of flute, he'll sit for hours and play. Home sweet home on a paper and a comb, his wife's gonna leave him all alone. For all night long he's singing her a song and winding up the gramophone. Oh. I knew twins now, as soon as he begins, start doing the kangaroo hop. I had to toddle upstairs undressed and bop him on the nose with a prop. He said, oh sport, I reckon you ought to leave me rent free. I said with a groan, take your old trombone and go to Bermondsey. With a hey diddle diddle on the middle of his fiddle, he can fiddle diddle diddle all day. A root toot toot on his little bit of flute, he'll sit for hours and play. Home sweet home on a paper and a comb, his wife's gonna leave him all alone. For all night long he's singing her a song and winding up the gramophone, phone. Hey diddle diddle on the middle of his fiddle, he can fiddle diddle diddle all day. A root toot toot on his little bit of flute, he'll sit for hours and play. Home sweet home on a paper and a comb, his wife's gonna leave him all alone. For all night long he's singing her a song and winding up the gramophone. Oi! Thank you. What are we doing on the time for? Okay. Here we are again. Tom and Jack and Tommy and Joe and Dang, I can't remember. Oh, food, that's fallen apart. Oh well. Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look sweet, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style with a brand new tie and your father's old green tie on. Well, I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain. Old iron, old iron. Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron. You look sweet, talk about a treat. You look dapper from your napper to your feet. Dressed in style with a brand new tie and your father's old green tie on. Well, I wouldn't give you tuppence for your old watch chain. Old iron, old iron, old iron, old iron. Right. Thank you. Underneath the railway arch, not very far away. Oh, I wish I'd sung that slower. Underneath the railway arch, not very far away, I knows a pavement artist who draws pictures every day. With little bits of coloured chalk, he draws his ideas out. They look so real, you fancy you could see him walk about. He looks so right and lively, you can totally hear them talk. Oh, I'm sorry, my brain has had a serious failure. Very nice. We ain't a living where we did afore we moved away from our little wooden hut in Peckham Rye. We've shifted for the better as the circumstances prove, 'cause we got a natty willer about the eye. It's fenced all round with railings and it's finished off with spikes and a natty little wooden gate for keeping out the tykes. But you can come and see us any afternoon you like at our pretty little villa down at Barking. Come down and hear the sparrows sing. In the middle of the winter you could fancy it was spring. The missus and the kids are getting brown as anything. Oh, come down and see us all at Barking. There's a pretty little banister if you wants to go upstairs. And the walls and things are painted white and blue. There's windows in the parlour and the cupboards are in pairs. And all the grates have got a chimney flue. There's a cellar underneath to hold 100 weight of coal. And a backyard almost big enough to play a game of bowls. And the kids have got the whooping cough, God bless their little souls. Oh, do come and see us all at Barking. Come down and hear the sparrows sing. In the middle of the winter you would fancy it was spring. The missus and the kids are getting brown as anything. I'll come down and see us all at Barking. There's a pretty iron scraper if it wants to scrape your boots. I'll wipe mine on the doormat by the door. There's nothing else so pretty as the number on the house. Why, the name of it's enough to break your jaw. Just remember, if you're coming, don't you do the la-di-da, 'cause the missus has this brother, he's a heavyweight, a star. You get a gentle lift from him, you won't know where you are. And I better mind your P's and Q's at Barking. Come down and hear the sparrows sing. In the middle of the winter you would fancy it was spring. The missus and the kids are getting brown as anything. I'll come down and see us all at Barking. Come down and hear the sparrows sing. In the middle of the winter you would fancy it was spring. The missus and the kids are getting brown as anything. I'll come down and see us all at Barking. Thank you. I keeps the pub, the